Welcome to SibSpot. Today's episode is people wondering if they're the bad guy in a situation. The stories featured today come from the forum Reddit. Our first story was posted by Dice267-990. Am I the bad guy for canceling the birthday party I planned to throw for my wife after what she did? I, male 36, remarried after my late wife passed away. I have a son, 15. My current wife and I have been together for 2 years. She generally has a good relationship with my son, although they tend to have some disagreements from time to time. My son has background in arts that involve wood. He used to help his grandfather with his woodworking and learned how to make handmade wooden items and use them as gifts. I planned a dinner party for my wife's birthday at a prestigious restaurant. The day before the party, she was cleaning my son's room and saw what he got her for her birthday, and that was a wooden tree with mine, hers, and his name on it. She talked with him and told him that while she thought it was a sweet gift, she asked that he don't bring it to the restaurant and give it to her there. Why? No idea. When my son told me this, I just had to call her out on it. She flat out said that she thought the gift looked ridiculous and she didn't want it to be seen at that prestigious restaurant in front of all her guests. I lost it on her and told her she should be ashamed of herself for saying this when my son was being sincere and thoughtful. She swore she wasn't ashamed nor embarrassed by his work and even said she'll take the gift but simply didn't want it to be seen there. I told her not to worry about it since I decided to cancel the whole thing. She went off on me, calling me unreasonable for outright canceling her birthday over such trivial thing. I refused to keep arguing, but she threw a fit about how I ruined her birthday and made her lose respect for me and my promises. My son kept the gift since she left the house 2 days ago, and her mom has been chewing me out for my decision and calling me a jerk for treating her daughter like this. It could be that it was not a big deal and I overreacted, but my son was feeling hurt by her request. OP, most people said you are not the bad guy, but I think there's room to grant you a tiny bit of that title. What your wife did was really hurtful and wrong, so she's the bigger bad guy, but you canceling her birthday party was done in retaliation for her being awful to your son over the gift. Our second story was brought to us by a user named OKCombination6767. Am I the bad guy for overhearing my boyfriend call me fat and saying something about it? I, 45 female, have been with my boyfriend, 59 male, for a little over a year and a half. Things have been rocky at times. He was widowed. It will be 4 years and a few months. We met a few days after the 2-year mark of his wife's passing. This was his second wife. She was very good for him, changed his ways, made him a better person. I'm thankful for her because without her, I would have not found him. He says, I was sent to him by God and his wife that passed. He had prayed to send him someone, that he was ready. 2 days later, he meets me. I was at my heaviest at that point in my life. I am tall, so I carried it pretty well, but I had gone through a divorce. COVID quarantine wasn't good to me, many things. I have since lost 54 pounds and I have about 30 more to be at my healthy, happy weight. I walk regularly now, in a better headspace, working on being better for myself over anyone else. Today, I had left for my walk. I forgot my work phone and was still technically on the clock a few more mins, so I went back to grab it. I had been gone about 10 minutes maybe. I get back to go in my office to get my phone and overhear him in the hallway area, house echoes, telling a family member that I had gone for my walk because I was trying to lose the weight, because he just can't put up with the fat the rest of his life. The person on the phone was like, "Oh, stop," something along those lines, and I walked out without saying anything, but it just ate me up, so I went home early. I confronted him about how it hurt my feelings that he would even say such a thing, especially to his family, but apparently it's not the first time. He contradicts himself so much, I don't know if he really does say this to his family regularly. or if he just tells me that to make me feel like they feel the same and agree to try to motivate. But it does the opposite to me. He does say inappropriate things to me at times about my weight, and I remind him that he fell in love with me heavier than this, and that doesn't happen overnight. I could go and get a quick fix, but in order to fix your body, you have to fix your mind, and him body shaming me is only going to stall me. He said I shouldn't have even told him I heard it, that I should have just kept it to myself, because if he wanted me to hear it, he would have told me himself, which he has before. So am I the bad guy for bringing it up? Something that hurt my feelings and he didn't even say sorry or apologize or anything? We aren't talking this evening and he's in bed now in the other room. So here I am feeling like the jerk for starting a fight that could have been avoided. OP, your boyfriend also sounds like he may not be boyfriend material. Several times in this story, you pointed out that he says negative things about your weight to you. You should move on with someone who knows how to be supportive without being demeaning, and his lack of apology for talking about you behind your back, regardless of the topic, shows a lack of maturity. Our last story was posted by a user named ConcernedMother45. This one kind of exploded. Am I the bad guy for asking my husband to include our children when spending time with his estranged son? I am a 45-year-old woman who has been married to my husband, Fred, for 20 years. We have 4 children, including my 24-year-old stepson, James. When Fred and I first met, he was still married to James's mother, Lily. We fell in love, but we didn't do anything physical until after the divorce was final. I met James when he was 5 years old, and over the almost 20 years that I have known him, he has never liked me. Despite my best efforts to build a relationship with him, he has never shown any interest in getting to know me or his siblings. When James turned 18, he left home, and while he would occasionally call and spend time with Fred, he would never do so with me or our children. Recently, I asked Fred to include our children when he spends time with James, but James has not spoken to him since. Now my mother-in-law, who has always favored Lily over me, has called me and accused me of being the jerk for hurting James and Fred's relationship even further. I understand that my request may have hurt James's feelings, but after almost 2 decades of trying to build a relationship with him, I feel I have exhausted all other options. I love my husband and our children, and I want them to feel included and valued in our family. It's not fair for James to exclude them from his life with Fred simply because he has a strained relationship with me. I believe that it's important for families to come together and support one another, especially during difficult times. James is part of our family, and I want him to know that he is welcome to spend time with us, but not at the expense of my children's feelings or our family dynamic. I understand that James may be hurt, but I hope he can see that our family is important to us, and we want him to be part of it. OP, several people brought it up, and I agree that it's funny you act as though you care about your family and your children's feelings, yet you didn't seem to care at all about ripping James's family apart. Some people even think you seem to be trying to create more of a gap between your husband and James for maybe financial reasons. Maybe he wants to give James money and you want to prevent it. But to be fair, that's all just speculation. Also, you mentioned not doing anything physical until the marriage was finalized. Most people don't believe that, but it also doesn't make it okay. You don't develop an emotional relationship with a married man, especially one with a young child. It's not fair to mess with their family dynamic. Only 3 stories for today, and that wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed your stay here at SibSpot. As always, until we meet again, have a great rest of your day.